the overall shape of it. Because now I know we're shape conscious because in many cases, if you go, let's say you have a friend that you see is walking away from you, a block away from you, you still know who that person is by his shape. And so we know we're shape conscious. Therefore, we want to exercise that in our approach to drawing. Now, people say portraits. You know, people are a little afraid of portraits. I think that's difficult. And portraits, same principle. Let's start with a mass. Let's see. You get that in there? I'm going to start with the same principle as the tree, cross-hatching, very light in the beginning stage. And just the person's head. And just a shape like that. That's a basic head construction that this is going to lead into. I'm going to show this in a linear approach as well. Now, when I talk about the mass, I'm not against line. It's just another way of seeing, and I think it is the proper way of seeing. That's how we do see things in shapes rather than the outline of a person. You don't see an outline around objects. You see the whole big shape, the big picture. And that's what we want to take in. And let's spend a little time at this. There's the ears right around here. How's that showing up? Okay. And maybe a little bit of the shoulders here. And now, I'm going to hold the charcoal closer to this part here. I'm going to bear it down a little heavier now. So therefore, if I did that, it would break. The charcoal is soft charcoal. But by bearing down, I'll go into a little darker area here to indicate where the eye sockets are going to be. Then I'm going to think about the shadow under the nose, which would be about here. So I'm kind of guessing at this point where these shadows fall. So we're working into the mass now. Now we're going to put the shadow of the upper lip here. And then lower lip. This will be another shadow. Now this is something that I use sometimes in our studies where we get some of those shadow effects, the shadow up the upper lip, underneath the lip, the shadow here. And this is a modeling thing that I will be doing in sculpture when we get to that segment of the show. Now, getting back to this. I'm going to take the eraser and pick out the highlights. Forehead, the nose, the cheekbones here. And let's say our shadow's coming from this side. So be a little lighter here. It's about like physics. These are natural causes taking place. I'll shape the eraser. Get that highlight of the lower lip. And the chin. These are all protruding areas. So now we have the second stage in the works. And maybe a little more shadow here. Now this is where it's good to stand away so you can see your results. That's where I use my reducing lens. That helps me. Okay. That's working out pretty good. And you can see there's a face there. Now, there's also now a third stage. Remember, these are the darks, and there's the lights and the intermediate. There's 3 tones involved here already. 3 variations of tones, which is good to refine it to that. And there's also a stage which is kind of called fine-tuning, where we bring it all together And that's interesting too, because that will allow you to get the likeness of a person, which is very interesting too. So what I would do now is hold that charcoal again to the very end here, and let's work into it a little bit. The upper eyelid over here. A little bit darker in here, the pupil of the eye. The eyebrow. Now, it starts to come alive, sort of.